Warning, this video is for educational purposes only. This does not condone any offensive terms or things. I am not here to offend anyone. This is just for an educational assignment that I'm doing for my college. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. Again, I do apologize if I were or do offend anyone. This video is not to offend anyone. This is just for an educational purpose and assignment. Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk about Across the Spider-Verse. This film was released in June 2nd, 2023. The directors we have here is going to be Joquarium Santos, Justin Thorson, and Kemp Power. I hope I said the names correctly, but if I do chop it up, I do apologize in advance. So then throughout the film, we're talking about Across the Spider-Verse. That is Miles Morales, one of the main characters. That is the big key role in the film. Miles Morales is a high school boy that is about to go into college and needs to be an overachiever in a private university, high school pretty much. And throughout the film, the father has a promotion coming up, has a promotional party going on for him and his son and his wife. That is Latino, that is pretty much Puerto Rican. What I liked about it is that throughout the film, the father has a big motivational speech that I could really attach myself to. But throughout the speech, Miles missed it, to the point where he got grounded for missing that important speech that he made for him and his wife. And his brother too, because his brother did pass away. That was the Prowler. Keep that in mind and remember that. So then throughout the film, Miles was grounded, got sent to his room, and that's when Gwen Stacy that showed up in his room. Gwen was not supposed to meet Miles, but then do so anyways. They went to go hang out, chill, vibe, and show him some crazy views and talk and catch up. But then when Gwen needs to go do her job on stopping a certain kind of event, that is the Spot, Miles' arch enemy, the Spot decided to gain a little more power, which he did, and Gwen just endangered Miles more to the point where he did or is now endangered. So then when they go to a different universe, it's a universe in India where they have an Indian Spider-Man. And throughout the plot, Miles saves a character in that universe, but then rips a timeline or a tear in the Spider-Verse web, as they call it. And throughout the film, that's when Miguel O'Hara was introduced. Miguel O'Hara is the guy that makes the whole operation and thing going. He explains to Miles why he should not rip the canon event web. If they do so, then it causes timeline to ripple and tear apart fully. The reason why he says that because he has experienced it and replaced a different Spider-Man version of him. Now, throughout the film, it also explains that he was not supposed to be Spider-Man in that universe, and the universe that the spider bit Miles, there was supposed to be a different Peter Parker. So Miles was not supposed to be a Spider-Man, but he was considered as an anomaly, which was pretty hurtful. So after he explains that, Miles tries to go back home into his universe and back to his home world. But the issue is when the replicator machine was setting up a portal back to his place, there was a mishaps where it copied a universe called Earth 42 that was sent him to the wrong universe. And that's where we saw the bad version of Miles that is also the Prowler. And like I said in the beginning, that is one of the key things because now they're in the wrong universe, the Spot's out there, and so on. So then after that, this is the short summary of the film. Real quick, I do apologize for a short summary, but I do want to keep this compact as possible so that my professor could review over the film. And we're going to go ahead and continue on the details of how the film showed the characters, how it was, and did it really show equal opportunity, equality with each character. and I will talk over that and throughout the film. So I do want to mention a quote from the book of Under Hollywood Jim Crow. Black movies and directors suffer a race penalty to the point where through the film I kind of saw how they treated Miles, the character, a little different, where he was like Miles was like often limited. He was like an often limited character seen treating him as a stereotype risk instead of a human that has a teenage lifestyle that's complex in his version. Because keep in mind that Miles does have a struggle with his parents a little, because he does have strict parents that tries to put in more motivation and time on him and make sure he is good for his life. Well, I also want to get another quote from the book is that blackness is an individual linked to a culture devaluing blackness because economy enforces or reinforces a white whiteness is more valued and linked to the culture. Economy is like it's more towards like what I'm trying to say is that blackness should be more accepted and treated equally as whiteness, because through the film I see that it breaks that stereotype. It breaks and shows that Miles has emotion, care, a real kid that also shows fear, dreams, and parents who sees him in a role where he's supposed to be a scholarly student that's supposed to have big dreams, a successor, the achiever. And what I liked about more is that it showed more emotion to the character and how he comes out as a African Puerto Rican child that is trying to be a hero, but also a scholarly student that tries to get his parents' approval, which I liked more about because it gives more character development. And I also could see why they try to show more emotion and value to Miles, which was pretty interesting and well done. And with Miles, I also saw how through the film there were some stereotypes of what teacher or their counselor said, that you're a struggling immigrant family. And what I liked more is that the family immediately defended themselves. The mother was from Puerto Rico and the father lived a decent lifestyle, which was pretty nice because honestly, I like it how it breaks the stereotypes. It refuses to fall into any stereotypes. And the film doesn't follow through with any stereotype at all. The only thing I saw more compelling was that it was more open with every race and every disability or mobility. Even a cat. I mean, even a cat was a Spider-Man. I mean, you can't get any more open than that. Because I mean, what I saw throughout the film though is that it was more open and equal opportunity with different cultures and race than enclosed other universes or enclosed parts. And through the film, I did see more open opportunities where the character showed each emotion. I mean, each character through the film has its own emotion, music background, and its own time of trauma. And what I liked more is that each Spider-Man had their own theme song that was altered. So it was the still same song. It was just altered. So like for Gwen, it was more angelic. For the Indian Spider-Man, it was more of that Indian music culture that was actually cultural appropriated. So they appropriate more to the characters' developments for each one. So they don't all fall into a stereotype. So this film more likely breaks stereotypes than anything really. I also do want to go over as well of the style of expression of each character. So we have Gwen Stacy. We also have Miguel O'Hara. We also have Rave. No, I forgot his name. He's from England, though. I think it was Hobie. Hobie. That is made in the punk rock song. So each character had a good development to the point where they gave a own personal theme song because they're in their own universe. What I liked about it is that with Spider-Man, they gave him a nice beat rhythm to it that isn't really a stereotype, but more of the song for him. And for Gwen Stacy, they gave her an angelic punk rock ballerina because she is dressed as half Spider-Man, but a bit of ballerina to it. And for Hobie is a punk rock British rebel that refuses to fall into other people and actually revolutionizes to his own way, where he doesn't play into a stereotype. He doesn't try to move into a whole group. He does it on his own, which I like a lot because it gives each character their own development. And what I liked more is that throughout the whole film in general, is that the heroes break the stereotype, and some villains do fall into the stereotypes. Like, for one example, is Miguel O'Hara, that is Hispanic male, that's very muscular. The stereotype on him, though, was that he is this Hispanic male that is always dramatic, has his own thing, and doesn't need anyone. And it has a very high drama. You could feel the tension. So that one is a bit of a Hispanic stereotype, but it does break it because it showed a bit of emotion of his backstory, which breaks the stereotype as well. So throughout the film, in general, it breaks every stereotype that you can ever look for. And honestly, it's been a pleasure doing this kind of work and video. I hope you guys do enjoy. And for my professor, I hope it does meet to your requirements. If I don't, I do apologize. And I do want to give credits to the voice actors for devoting their time and attention, and to the writers that created the whole Spider Across the Spider Verse film, because without them, we wouldn't have an amazing film to this day that is more cultural appropriate and that is more open than concealed, like other films that there's always a white savior movie. There's less white savior movies now, which I do appreciate more in this time. And I hope you guys have a good day and enjoy this film or this clip of video. This is for educational purpose. Again, if I do offend anyone or have made any mistakes, I apologize in advance.